When we talk about Michael Jordan's toughest opponents, we often hear names like Gary Payton, Clyde Drexler, Magic Johnson, or even Kobe Bryant. But according to MJ himself, one of his greatest defensive challenges came from a player who rarely sought the spotlight, Joe Dumars. Michael Jordan has a habit of naming his toughest opponents in ways that often surprise fans. While many would expect him to cite Hall of Famers, Jordan instead highlights players who may not have received the same mainstream recognition. A perfect example of this is in 1981, when he named former Phoenix Suns forward Walter Davis as one of his most memorable challenges. Similarly, his praise for Joe Dumars as one of his toughest defenders follows this pattern, recognizing players who weren't necessarily the biggest superstars, but who posed unique challenges to his dominance. This speaks to Jordan's ultra-competitive mindset, where even lesser-known players who gave him trouble earned his respect and a place in his storied career. Dumars wasn't the flashiest or the most physically imposing defender Jordan ever faced. At just 6'3", he was significantly shorter than MJ. But what he lacked in size, he made up for with intelligence, tenacity, and an unwavering defensive discipline that set him apart from the rest. Jordan himself once said,
Thought well. I mean, he was very smart about his defenses. I think he approaches the game as trying to dissect his opponents and try to find weaknesses or try to force them to do things that they didn't feel comfortable doing, and he introduced certain tricks to make me, expand on my talents as an offensive player. I mean, that's why I consider him the best.
Born in Natchitoches, Louisiana, Joe Dumars initially excelled in football before shifting his focus to basketball. He played college ball at McNeese State University, where he proved to be a scoring machine, averaging over 22 points per game. Despite his talent, he flew under the radar until the Detroit Pistons selected him 18th overall in the 1985 NBA draft. From the moment he stepped onto the court, Dumars established himself as a defensive powerhouse. But it wasn't just his physical ability, it was his mindset. He had that dog mentality, a relentless drive to be the best at whatever he did. Dumars was a key part of the infamous Bad Boy Pistons, a team that prided itself on physicality and defense. And when it came to stopping Jordan, they had a plan, the Jordan rules. The strategy was brutal and effective. Force Jordan to the left where he was less dominant. Send multiple defenders to trap him in the paint. Hit him with hard fouls to wear him down. This wasn't just basketball, this was psychological warfare. The Pistons wanted Jordan to feel their presence every time he touched the ball. And at the heart of this defensive scheme, Joe Dumars. So how did Jordan fare against Dumars? Well, to put it lightly, it did absolutely nothing to stop MJ from dominating. Individually, Jordan still put up incredible numbers, averaging 31.1 points per game while shooting 47.3% from the field. But Dumars wasn't just a defensive specialist. He made an impact on offense as well, contributing 15.4 points per game of his own with a solid 45.7% field goal percentage. He wasn't just defending Jordan, he was making him work on both ends of the floor. Over the course of their careers, they faced each other a total of 70 times. In those matchups, Jordan's Bulls held out a slight edge, winning 37 games, while Dumars and the Pistons came out on top 33 times. But when it came to the playoffs, the tables turned. Dumars' Pistons won 12 playoff games against Jordan's Bulls, who managed 10 victories. It is clear that despite the incredible stats that MJ averaged against Dumars, he still considered him to be an incredible defender and opponent. Despite their fierce battles, there was always mutual respect between the two. Unlike some of Jordan's other rivals, Dumars never resorted to trash talk. His game spoke for itself. The matchups between Michael Jordan and Joe Dumars represent one of the greatest one-on-one defensive battles in NBA history. Dumars didn't just challenge Jordan physically, he made MJ better. He forced Jordan to elevate his game, to refine his skills, and to adapt. And when the Bulls finally overcame the Pistons in 1991, Jordan had to become a more complete player, partly because of what he had learned from facing Joe Dumars. So what do you think? Was Joe Dumars Jordan's toughest defender? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more legendary basketball stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.